What's going on, guys? This is Brain for Advancement Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about if you actually need a family advisor. As a family advisor myself here, I get this question all the time. Do I need a family advisor? When should I get one? Is it worth the money? At what age? All these things. This is the most common set of questions that we receive all the time. Literally on a daily basis, people are asking us, are your services worth it? It's a good question because it does cost some money, right, to hire an advisor. So it's completely reasonable that people want to know, okay, is this actually worth the investment? And with this video here, I'm going to do my best to try and answer that question. I want to make it really clear for you guys, we are a family advising company. I do family advising myself. We do charge money for it. So my opinion is biased, right? And I acknowledge that. But I'm gonna do my best to be as objective as I can in this video because I really want to give you guys the best information, the best way to think about it to decide if a family advisor is worth it for you or not. Because at the end of the day, we're here to help you guys. That's why we make this free content, is to help you guys as much as possible. So I'll do my best, despite my biases here, I'll do my best to give you a really objective opinion as to when you should consider having one and when you should consider not having one. Now, before we dive in here, I just have a simple favor to ask, and that is to smash that like button. It helps the channel out a ton. It's free, it takes a quick second, and it just helps reach more people. Now, as a reward, because you guys were all great and you all smashed that like button, here's a picture of a baby panda. Oh. All right, all jokes aside here, let's dive right in. So first, what is a family advisor? What's their role? And I'll make it as simple for you guys as possible. The advisor essentially has two roles. One is to be a mentor for the player and their family. So you essentially serve as a guide, you answer all their questions. You're kind of like the big brother, okay, that helps them go through the journey because you've done it before. So that's the first role. Second role is to be almost like an agent, okay? It's very similar. It's someone that markets the player to the target teams that they want to go to, okay? So if the player, for example, is playing AAA hockey, they want to go to prep hockey, you're going to market them towards that. If they're going from AAA or prep to junior hockey, the advisor markets them towards that. And once they're in junior, if they want to go to college hockey, the advisor markets them and tries to get them committed to college hockey. At the end of the day, you're almost acting, you're not an agent, for NCAA rules, but you're almost acting as one. The mentor role and the marketing role. Those are the two roles of a family advisor and what they do and why they add value. Now that we know what a family advisor is, let's move on to the factors that you should use to decide if a family advisor is necessary or not. And in my mind, I came up with 6 different factors that, in order of importance too, to see if a family advisor is worth it for you and when it's not worth it for you. So let's dive right in. Number 1, age. Age is a very important factor because in my mind, if a player is before the age of 14, unless there's extreme exceptions here, they don't need a family advisor. Okay, they don't need someone marketing them to teams. They don't need anything like that. It's very rare that a player even needs an agent at that age. Some players do. The exceptional players sometimes get agents at that age. But honestly, I would say for the regular player, getting an advisor before 14 is not worth it, in my opinion. Unless it's like a pure mentorship, mindset coaching, stuff like that. Sure, go for it if you want your player to get the edge on that sense, get a head start. But in terms of an actual advisor marketing to teams, you don't need it before the age of 14. And in fact, you want to consider around the age of 15 or 16 if your player's got D1 potential. But even then, that's even very young. Most players don't need an advisor till 17 or 18 years old, okay? So age, that's when you should start considering an advisor. And before 14, absolutely not. 15 to 16, maybe, if the player is very good. And 16, 17 or 18, that's when most players get advisors. All right, second factor to consider here is the skill level of the player. If you're absolutely elite, okay, if you're an elite hockey player, let's say Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Jonathan Toews, all those guys typically, unless they're going the NCAA route, they don't need advisors, they need agents, okay? The agents go after the elite hockey players. We made a video on NCAA advisors versus agents, right? It was one of our first videos. You can find it in the link up here. But basically, we go in great depth as to what the difference is between the two. And essentially, if you're an elite player, yes, you want an agent. If you're a great to good player, that's when, considering an advisor can be useful, and that's the type of players that advisors go for if their end goal is to play college hockey somewhere. So I would say, yeah, that's the main difference. Elite player, agents, good to great players, if they want to go NCAA, advisors. All right, factor number 3 kind of ties into what we just talked about, but it's the end goal of the player. If your goal is to go play pro hockey or go major junior, that route, obviously you go with an agent. If your end goal is to go NCAA hockey, or if you want to go straight from U Sports, if you're playing junior A, you want to go U Sports, any type of collegiate hockey, an advisor can come in and help you out. So essentially that is it. That's the big difference in this. Nice, short and sweet. Factor number 4 here is if you have a family advisor that is very knowledgeable or not. And when I say very knowledgeable, it means that a family member that really has has hockey experience, has played hockey, has learned a lot, has studied the game a lot, is really good on that end. They understand how the hockey world works, they understand how to navigate it. They have the contacts with the prep coaches, the junior coaches, NCAA coaches, all that. They basically, are almost an advisor. They have the knowledge and the connections to serve as your advisor. If that's the case, awesome. You use them as a resource, for free, and that's awesome. I know some players that have those kind of family members that have, dads that have played at that level that know the whole process, that have the contacts. In that case, go for it. You don't need an advisor at all. That being said, though, 9 times, if not more out of 10, families don't come from that background. Most families don't have a clue as to how the junior hockey world works, and that's where having an advisor comes in handy. Your window as a hockey player is very finite, okay? In life, with business, things like that, you can fail a lot and learn, and you don't always need a mentor. You can learn as you go. You have a long time to do it. But as a hockey player, you have very few years to really, go through AAA hockey, prep hockey, junior hockey, and college hockey. There's a very finite window for you to succeed or not. So if you make a ton of unnecessary mistakes, it's gonna basically, that short window that you have is gonna shorten it. It's not a good recipe. You don't want to learn as you go. You want to have all these things dialed in. We try as much as possible to give as much free information for you guys on YouTube, but that only goes so far. To have the contacts, to really know how to make the right decisions and tough calls and all that, that's where you want an expert with experience to help you guys out. So in that case, if you don't have a family member that's very knowledgeable or someone that can really guide you and help you through the process, I would say in that case it is important to at least consider hiring a family advisor, because it really does help you out a ton. Point number 5 here is the presence of a great coach that prides themselves on moving players on. Now this is very similar, okay? Not the same, but very similar as having an experienced family member, okay? If you have a great coach, number one, great coach, well respected and all that kind of stuff, but also that prides themselves on moving players on, taking time out of their day to call coaches to get them advanced to the next level that they want to get to. In that case, the coach is basically acting as an advisor for you. This is few and far between though, it's very rare. And if you get that, you're extremely lucky. Count your lucky stars. That's awesome that you get a coach like that. In that case, no need to spend the money on an advisor. But most coaches are good. I would say a good chunk of coaches do it for the right reasons. They want to move players on, they want to develop them. They're there because they love the game and all that stuff. Most coaches are good. That being said, most coaches don't, have the time to advance hockey players to the next level, to make all the phone calls and then send all the emails, the texts, go back and forth, negotiate with coaches. They don't have time for that. They have 20 to 25 players on their roster. They don't have time to do that with every single player. That's where an advisor comes in. That's our job, that we have our select few clients that we help them advance to the next level, that we make those phone calls, we contact those coaches, we have the contacts for that. That's where we come in and we do that. Some coaches do it. If they do it for you, great, that's unreal for you. But if not, then that's where an advisor comes in and fills that gap for you. All right, now moving on to the 6th and final factor here to consider, and that is cost. Because for me, I understand, it's reasonable to say that, advisors do charge quite a bit of money for what they do. Good advisors, I think it's worth it for sure. But, I get it. It does cost quite a bit of money, and not every family can afford that kind of money. Not every family can just dish out $2,000, $3,000 or something like that, I totally understand. But that being said, most advisors are flexible with payment plans. They do try and help families, If a family is really struggling, some advisors will offer discounts too, just to be able to help that family out. I would say the advisors that are doing it for the right reasons will try every way they can to help out a family get through it financially, But I get it. In some cases, if you can't afford it, we totally understand. That's why we make these YouTube videos. For those that can't afford it, at least you can get the information. You don't have a mentor or anything like that guiding you through and connecting you with teams and stuff, but at least you get information. You can at least start to understand, okay, how do advisors think? How do we navigate the whole world, and how can we make the right decisions? At least we try and do that so people can at least have free resources. But moving on now to my point is, if you can afford it, okay, if it's something that is very affordable for your family, and all the other points that we touched on, you're in the position where you feel like you need an advisor, where you feel like it could really help you out. This is one thing that, and I am biased when I say this, but it's one thing you don't want to cheap out on, because you have to see it as an investment. You have to see it as an investment, as someone's gonna get you to where you wanna get to, okay? And that someone's gonna mentor you throughout the way. And because, like we said, the hockey window is so small, you wanna be able to correctly navigate that field to get to college hockey, right? An advisor really can help you do that if you don't have those other points that we talked about, if it makes sense for you to get it. So my perspective on it is, if you're in a position where you can afford it, I would say, and you need an advisor, you feel like you need one, I would say going for it is probably the right call, okay? Now, obviously, everyone's situation is different, but that's my take on it. The money is worth it if you do need an advisor. And like I said again, if you can't afford it, or it's not in your budget, or for whatever reason you don't want one, start with the YouTube videos, do your research, talk to hockey experts, at least do that part so you're making informed decisions. But at the end of the day, yes, cost is a factor, but don't let it get in the way if you do need an advisor. All right, now I know we covered a ton of info here in this video to see if an advisor is worth it or not. Hopefully I helped answer the question, but here we're gonna recap the main points here to really drive the message home and to help you decide as to what decision you're gonna take, if you really need one or if you don't right now. So first thing we talked about, what is the role of an advisor? Basically, they're a mentor and a marketer that helps move the player along through their hockey journey. All right, and now the factors to consider on whether to get an advisor or not. So first is age, second is the player's skill level, third is the player's end goal, fourth is if the player has a knowledgeable hockey family member or not, fifth is if the player has a great coach that prides themselves on moving players on or not, and sixth, last but not least, is cost. All right, guys, that's pretty much a wrap for the video here. I hope I was able to answer the question for you guys if you really do need a family advisor or not. It's a big decision, and it's something that can really, propel your hockey career in the right direction if you choose the right advisor at the right time. So hopefully this kind of gave you an understanding, at least some guidance as to what your decision is going to be in the future. If you did like the video, if you have any questions or any comments, anything you want to talk to us about, feel free to drop a comment down below, or send us an email at info@ahadvising.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And again, if you got any value out of this video at all, if you like the video, consider smashing that like button. We won't show you a picture of a baby panda this time, but we will in the future videos as you guys keep liking the video. So if you like the video, consider hitting that like button. It really helps the channel out. It really helps YouTube know. It tells the algorithm, hey, this video is actually good. Let's broadcast it to more people. So if you get the second, please smash that like button. It goes a long way. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, guys, that is it for the video. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you got some value out of it, and we'll catch you on that next one.